All right, welcome back to another video. So in this video, I'll be basically going over the Swift Algo X as well as the ConFlux to basically automate your trades to pass prop firms a lot faster. Mainly, I'll be talking about basically the new feature in the ConFlux basically called the Martingale feature. In that update, will be releasing probably tonight, as well as talk about the smart money concept indicator as well. Okay. All right, so let's begin. So first things first, make sure you do add Swift Algo X to your chart. So it should look something like this. We're gonna clean this up a little bit. So I do trade on the 1 minute time frame. So indicator sensitivity, I usually keep this at 5 minutes. And then basically risk to reward, I keep this as a 1-to-1. Max stop loss size percentage, I do enable this, and I do keep this at 0.2. What happened? So I do keep this basically at 0.2. Okay. EMA, I do keep this at 300. Calculated bars, I do keep this usually at 0. I do actually change between 0 to 5,000. And then I do look at the dashboard. So it's telling me to choose a 9. Basically for the algorithm multiply and algorithm period, it's telling me to choose a 7. Because the current setting has to basically match the backtest setting. Give a few seconds for it to load. Then hit OK. Basically for the style, I like to uncheck this buy and sell signal. I do uncheck this long entry, short entry. For long TP, I choose the third level thickness. Long stop loss, I do choose the third level thickness. Same thing with this as well. And I do uncheck these. And then I like to do 50% shaded. And then I like to uncheck this. I don't really need this extra data. I just want to show the name of the indicator only. Then visibility, I keep that unchanged. And that's all I do in this setting. Then hit OK. Then hit save. So your chart should look something like this. But this is based on person preference. You can customize with whatever style you want. Then go back to indicators. We're going to add this ConFlux, but since I'm talking about the new update, I'm going to add the newest update, the Martingale, and this will be released, like I said, tonight. So we're going to go back to your ConFlux settings. Confluence meter, keep this as single long signal 1. You want to choose buy signal only. Short signal 1, choose sell signal only. And then make sure you do keep this check, enable long 1, enable long 2. We'll come back to this later. Use trading windows. I usually keep this unchecked because I want this to trade all sessions. Exit method, I choose indicator exit. And then long TP indicator, I will choose take profit. And this will be stop loss. Same thing. This will be take profit. This will be stop loss. And then go to your properties tab. Default order size. I like to keep this at 2 contracts for MNQ if you're trading funded. If you're doing eval, I may go for 7 MNQ. And then I always leave this on bar close check, and I'm on the premium plan, so I'm going to be using bar magnify and using this. This is only available on the premium plan. Go to style. I like to uncheck this. I don't need this extra data. Basically the same process. Okay. I do talk more in depth in my other YouTube videos, so be sure to check those out. But in this video, I'll be mostly talking about the new feature, which is basically a martingale. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to enable this. So once you have martingale enable, you're going to choose the base contract size. So once it's enabled, you see how I have 2 contract size. This no longer matters, because as you see, it still shows, oh, it actually shows it too. Okay, never mind. But yeah, base quantity, you will need to choose, oh, I get it, never mind. So if you leave this unchecked, for example, you see how it says a 1, right? It shows a 1. Even though my contract size says a 2. You have to change base quantity to a 2. Then the contract size will change to a 2. Give it a few seconds for it to load. See, now it says a 2. Okay. So you no longer have to do the contract size under properties. You can now do it basically in base quantity. Okay. And then what we're going to do, we're going to enable martingale. I'm going to keep this on check. Oh, no, we're going to keep this checked. So let me explain to you how this actually works. Okay. So the base quantity is 2 contracts. So it's going to enter on a 2 contracts. It took a loss. So what's going to happen? It's going to double the contract size, because I have the multiply after loss 2. So 2 times 2 means it's going to take 4 contracts on the next one. This was a winner. So it won. So it basically made up for your loss and it got more money. Okay. But since I have reset to base after win is check. So meaning since I won this trade, it goes back to 2 contracts. Oh, I guess that was the last one. Let me see if I can go back further to give you more examples. There's 2. Okay, here's an example. So it lost a trade right there. It took basically double contract size. And then it goes back to 2 contracts, okay? So you can do that after reset base to win, okay? I did tested this out. So as you see on my Top Step X account, this was still under experimentation. Ignore this Monday. Martingale was not enabled on Monday. I started using it on a Tuesday. So I took a loss. I lost $196, 1 trade. So next contract doubled in size. I basically made back Monday's loss plus more money. But fortunately, I took 2 losses on Thursday. So I doubled contract size 2 times. And I basically made up for Thursday's loss. So if you exclude Monday, since martingale was not enabled, I was basically a net profit of like, I think $200 or something like that. Because as you see, 2 contracts, then loss, it doubled in size, 4 contracts, but unfortunately it took another loss. So what happens? 4 times 2, it took 8 contracts. Then, obviously it took 16 contracts because of another loss. So 60 contracts basically made up basically this loss right there. So obviously it's doing what it's supposed to do, which is great. Okay, so that's one scenario you can do. Max martingale steps is 5. So meaning it does it 5 times. So if you go to strategy report, Let's see if we can look up. Let's see if I can do past 30 days. Actually, I probably want to keep max martingale steps to 3 instead. So meaning it only multiplies it 3 times. So meaning it'll take, let's say it took a loss. So 4 contracts next trade, let's say it takes another loss. So it's going to be 8 contracts. Then it takes another loss. So it's going to take 16 contracts, and that's going to be the limit. Since I have, steps 3, meaning 4, 8, 16, then obviously if you do 4, it's going to take, 16 times 2, I think that's 32, I think. Then 5, obviously it's going to take 32 multiplied by 2. So I prefer probably 3, or you can do also a 2. It just depends whatever you prefer. But that's what that means. Let's see. To last 90 days. So see 2 contracts, then 4 contracts, followed by 8 contracts, then 16 contracts, then 16. Then after that, it goes back to 2 again. So that's why Martingale is very powerful. So yeah, but you can also leave this unchecked. If you leave this unchecked, meaning it's going to take 2 contracts, then once it takes a loss, it's going to take 4 contracts. Win or lose does not matter. It will remain a 4 as long as you keep winning trades. But if you lose, it's going to take 8 contracts until you lose another trade. If you lose another trade, it's going to take 16 contracts, and that's going to be permanent since I have maximum 3 times, okay? But if you're going to do that, you have to do reset on new week, okay? So because the reason why is because if you're not going to do that, then you're most likely going to be taking the max contract size on every single trade. So you need a reset, okay? And you also have the option to reset on new day, okay? For quantity greater than 0, you want to keep this check. It's mandatory, okay? Keeps quantity non-negative, so always keep this check. Week reset mode, reset on week futures, meaning it's going to reset every Sunday at 1800 New York Standard Time, EST. So this will be based whatever time zone you're in. Since I live in California, it's going to reset Sunday at 3 p.m. PST my time. That's what the reset mode is. You can also do Sunday by midnight or ISO Monday, depending on whatever you prefer. But that's what Martingale is. But obviously, you can always uncheck this if you don't need it. But if you do keep it unchecked, let's see what the back test report will show. Update report. Give a couple seconds to load. Taking a while for it to load. But you can use it basically on a prop firm account like TopStar Futures, Project X, and see how it does for you. If it, if you can pass your evals faster, something like that. So yeah. Let's see if we can just reset back to chart session. So you see 70%, 74%. This is what's with the Martingale feature. So let's see if we actually, let's see. We saw new week. If you keep this unchecked, for example, It does actually increase your P&L by a lot. But the issue is that, obviously you're probably going to be taking trades on the max contract size. So that's why there has to be a reset. So you can play with it, experiment with it. But that option is pretty powerful. So I would recommend always test it on a demo account first. But anyways, that's that. So that update will be releasing tonight, but however, it's going to be released on a new indicator. It'll be called the ConFlux, probably professional version. So make sure you do claim that from the WAP store for now, because I do not want to change basically the logic code on ConFlux, because the reason why is because I am testing the ConFlux buy and sell signals by itself probably next week, and I just don't want to change the logic. So I'll be adding the new version in a separated brand new indicator. I'll just name it the ConFlux professional version. So make sure you do claim that from the WAP store. And then let me actually talk about the smart money concept indicator. I do talk more in depth about the Swift Algo and ConFlux in my other YouTube videos, but this video is mainly just to show you the new feature of the ConFlux. Okay, so let me show you the smart money concept. That update will be releasing tonight as well. So make sure you do update that too. Okay, there it is. So I'm going to hide that. So the smart money concept indicator, this is used as extra confluent, okay? So if you go to your settings tab, style, I like to basically uncheck this. I don't like to see this accent buy and sell signals. It just makes it too ugly. Visibility leave as is. It's very customizable. I think it's pretty much self-explanatory. You do get these trend ribbons and signals, which is a new feature added. I like to also make this 50% shaded as well. And also the bearish bands, I like to make this 50% shaded as well. You can change the fast EMA, the slow EMA line. And then I also added this new feature called the money line as well. You can change the money line length. And then you can also add the premium discount zones to see. You can also add the previous daily high, weekly, monthly high. And this, I like to see the fair value gaps, and I like to make this 30 so I can see it clearly on the chart. Time frame, I like to go up the 5 minutes. But you do have to experiment with this, as I don't really use a smart money concept to manual trade anymore. But this is used mainly for manual trading as extra confluence. For example, it's below this money line, right? It turned red. As you see this red circle, it means there's a money line break to the downside. And then the sell, meaning the trend ribbon just turned red, bearish. So you could have took a sell position and see you got a change of character for extra confirmation, followed by it actually had a pullback and then another break of structure for additional confluence. So you could have entered a trade right there. You could have entered, probably one contract, and you probably could have added another contract for extra confirmation. And then you could have rode the trend all the way down, probably somewhere around there. So at touch, you probably could have exited your trade, or you could have rode it down until it actually went above the money line. So this probably could have, been a huge profit in your account. Let's have another example. So it basically gave us a bullish signal right there. So it broke above the money line, and then trend ribbon turned green. So you could have entered probably one contract there, and then you could have added more contracts, changed our character breakup structure, and then you probably could have added more contracts with additional confluences, and then you could have wrote the trend all the way, in this section right there. But obviously it does give you, a couple of false signals as well, just like anything else. Like this, you could have, probably scalped this section right there. You could have probably scalped this section right there. This section probably would have gave you a lot of false signals. But you can use this in conjunction with the Swift Algo X indicator or with any other indicators out there as well. So yeah, like this probably would have been a lot of like choppiness in this section right there. So, but other than that, it was actually obviously bullish. You could have, entered, exited, and then same thing, you could have entered in this section, exited right there. So, but I don't recommend using this tool to automate. Just use this tool if your goal is to manual trade, and in conjunction with other confluences like this. Like I said, you would have got chopped up. But I noticed if the band in the money line is like tangling and narrow, it probably means it's choppiness. So the money line should be sloping upward, and the trend ribbon should be sloping upwards as well, and they should also be spaced apart, at least like right there, and the trend ribbon should be nice and clean. Then that means it's a strong trend. But like right there, narrow trend ribbons, and also the money line is tangling against each other, so meaning avoid the trade. So that's how you can actually see if it's ranging or not as well. So, and this will be available in the legacy basic plan, only for $15 per month. No refunds after purchase, and no free trials will be given. And the Swift Algo X indicator will also be in the description as well. When you do subscribe to Legacy Plan, you do get the Smart Money Concept as well as the ConFlux. And then Swift Algo X the link will be in the description for that. But other than that, I hope you do find value in this video. Make sure you do like, leave a comment, and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys in next week's video.